In this video, I'm going to discuss about the topic called profit, loss, and discount, which is a part of commercial maths subject. Now, this is a continuation of one of the previous topics which we have discussed, that is percentages. Now, first, I would like to discuss the basic terms involved in this chapter, beginning with cost price, selling price, profit, and loss. For cost price, let us say we have the cost price of one pencil be rupees 6, and let us also assume that the selling price of the same pencil is 10 rupees. Obviously, in this case, since selling price is more than cost price, it's a case of profit, and profit will be SP minus CP, of course, provided that if SP is more than CP. In this case, the profit will come out to be 4 rupees. How do we find out the profit percent? The formula for profit percent, also known as gain percent, will be profit divided by CP into 100. Note that CP is coming in the denominator, which is therefore also called as the base to find out the profit percent. So now we know that profit is SP minus CP. So the formula becomes profit percent is equal to SP minus CP divided by CP into 100. So you must remember this formula to find out the profit or gain percent. Let's call this P. So in this example, which we have taken, the profit percent comes out to be 10 minus 6 by 6 into 100, and that is 66 2 by 3%. Also, you should note that the formula for selling price will be SP is equal to CP into brackets 1 plus profit percent by 100. Now, this formula we can derive from the previous formula of profit percent, which is SP minus CP upon CP into 100. So both these formulas you must remember. The first formula is to find out profit percent. The second formula is to find out SP, the formula given at the bottom. Now in this bottom formula, that is SP is equal to CP into 1 plus P by 100. This formula you can use to find out SP if CP and profit percent is given to you, or to find out CP if SP and profit percent is given to you. Now let us say we have a second situation where the same pencil is now being sold for rupees 4. If you would recall, the cost price of the same pencil was 6 rupees. So it's a clear-cut case of loss. And loss in this case will be 2 rupees. And so we can find out loss percent by the formula loss upon CP into 100. Again, note that in the denominator we have CP, and that means CP is the base in case of loss percent as well. And so the formula becomes CP minus SP divided by CP into 100. So in this example which we have chosen, the loss percent will be 6 minus 4, that is 2 rupees loss, divided by 6 rupees, that is cost price, multiplied with 100. So it comes out to 33 1 by 3%. Now in this case, my formula for SP will be SP is equal to CP into 1 minus loss percent divided by 100. R denotes loss percent. So again, you have to remember both the formulas. First formula is loss percent formula given above, and the other is SP in the case of loss percent. Now let's apply these formulas to this question. In this question, we are given the data that Vikas purchased 11 books for rupees 10, and he sold them at the rate of 10 books for rupees 11. We have to find out the profit percent. Now, please realize that the cost price of 11 books is 10 rupees. That means the CP of one book will be 10 by 11. And also, the SP of 10 books is 11 rupees. So SP of one book will be 11 by 10 rupees. This is a little bit of tough fractions, but still, if we apply the formula of profit percent, we will get SP minus CP divided by CP into 100. Putting the values here, I hope you can get the value. It comes out to finally 21%. And so my answer is B option. However, there is an alternative or a shortcut method to find out the solution of this question. And in this case, what we do is we will rather take the LCM of the number of books. So there are two data given, 11 books. In the second case, we have 10 books. So we'll take the LCM of 11 and 10. and that gives me 110. So let's assume that 110 books are involved in this question. So if the cost price of 11 books is 10 rupees, so the cost price of 110 books will be obviously 100 rupees. Similarly, SP of 10 books is 11 rupees, so SP of 110 books will be 121 rupees. And therefore, we see that for a certain number of books, uh, the cost price comes out to be 100 rupees, and for those number of books the SP is 121 rupees, and that means the profit percent is clearly 121 minus 100 by 100, and that comes out to 21%. So I feel this is a slightly easier method than the previous method. Take one more example. In this case, you see that there are two horses being sold for rupees 1200 each. That means 1200 rupees is the SP of each horse. On one, we are having a gain of 20%. On the other, we have a loss of 20%. What is the overall profit or loss percent? Now, I realize that a lot of students feel that since on one we are gaining 20%, on the other we are losing 20%. So this is a case of no profit, no loss overall. But there lies the trick. Please notice that 1200 rupees is not the cost price. It is the selling price for each horse. So let's calculate cost price for each horse with this data given. So for the first horse, our SP is 1200 rupees and gain percent is 20%. So using the formula of SP and CP, that is SP is equal to CP into 1 plus profit percent by 100, I get the value of cost price as SP divided by 1 plus 20%. That is 1200 divided by 1 plus 20%, and that gives me 1000 rupees. So the CP of the first horse is 1000 rupees. In the case of second horse, we are having a loss of 20%. SP remains the same as 1200 rupees and loss is 20%. So CP becomes how much? That will be SP upon 1 minus loss percent. So that calculates to the value of rupees 1500. So that means the cost price of the first horse is 1000 rupees and that of the second horse is 1500 rupees. And which means the total cost price is 2500 and total selling price is 2400 because two horses are sold for rupees 1200 each. So SP will be 1200 plus 1200. So we realize that SP here is less than CP overall. So there is a net loss of 100 rupees. And we can now find out the loss percent by the formula loss percent is equal to loss upon CP into 100. My overall loss here we can see is 100 rupees and the total cost price is 2500. So it will be 100 divided by 2500 into 100. And this comes out to 4%. So that means I am incurring an overall loss of 4% in this case. So the answer is B option. Now look at this next problem. Here I am given the selling price of an article to be 56 rupees and the cost price we are not given. We are given that the cost price is X rupees and we have to find a value of X. It also says that the gain percent is also X percent. So it's the question in terms of variables. If I go by the primary method or the conventional approach, how will I go about it? We know that SP is equal to CP into 1 plus profit percent by 100. Applying it here, we get SP is X into 1 plus X by 100. But that is SP, so we know the SP value is 56 rupees. So equate that to 56. And then if we solve this, I will get a quadratic equation after shifting the terms. So what I get is 100x plus x square is equal to 5600. And this gives me this equation. And splitting the middle term, in the quadratic equation, we get x square plus 140x minus 40x minus 5600 equal to 0. And this further gives me upon factorization this equation, and then we get x plus 140 into x minus 40 equals to 0. And so the value of x comes out to minus 140 or 40. Obviously, x is the cost price, so it can't be negative. My obvious answer is 40 rupees. So x value is 40. And so my answer is C option. But this calls for creating the equation which is quadratic and then doing middle term splitting. And so it is a little bit more time consuming. Do we have a shortcut for this? There is an alternative or shortcut method for this question also. And in this, what we do is we will use options. So if I say my first option is the answer, 50 rupees, then that means X is 50 and gain percent is also 50%. From this, can I find out the selling price? Of course. So my if CP is 50 rupees and profit percent is 50%, then that means SP will be 50 plus 25. How do we get 25? Because gain is 50% of CP. So 50% of 50 is 25 rupees. So my SP comes out to 75 rupees. But this is not the SP given in the question. So that means CP as 50 is a wrong choice of option. It also means that since 75, which I have got, is more than 56, my correct CP will be less than 50. So I need not try B option, that is X as 60. So I will straight away move to C option. Now we'll assume that X is 40. So if my cost price is 40, the gain percent will be 40%, and therefore SP will be 40 plus 16. Now how we get 16? That is 40% of 40. So my SP comes out to 56 rupees, and therefore, which matches with the data. So I will say that the correct answer is C option. All right. Let's try one more problem. In this, if you read this question carefully, it says that 20% water is added to pure milk and the mixture is sold at the cost price of milk. Then what is the profit percent? In the brackets, an important sentence is given that we are assuming that water is free of cost. We will soon see the implication of what happens if water is free of cost or what happens if water is no more free of cost. So let's first of all assume that water is free of cost as is given in the question. Now, first part of the question says 20% water is added to pure milk. Let's interpret this. Does it mean that in 100 liters of milk, we are adding 20% water, means 20 liters of water to make the volume as 120 liters, which has 100 liters milk and 20 liters water? Or does this sentence mean that in 100 liters of mixture of milk and water, 20 liters is water, and that would mean 80 liters is milk? So what do you think is the correct interpretation? The correct interpretation is the first one, in which I said that we have 100 liters of pure milk, to which I'm adding 20% water. And so what do we get? We get 120 liters of the mixture if 100 liters of milk was there. Now let us assume that CP of 1 liter of milk is rupee 1, and therefore CP of 100 liters of milk will be 100 rupees. Since amount of water added is 20 liters, the volume becomes 120 liters. And then I will say that the SP of 120 liters of the mixture will be how much? Notice that in the second part of the above line, it says mixture is sold at the cost price of milk. And the cost price rate of milk is 1 rupee per liter. So if the customer is seeing that 120 liters of a mixture is there, he is assuming it's obviously pure milk. He doesn't know the milkman has added some water to this. So if the volume of the mixture is 120 liters, it will be sold at 120 rupees because it is sold at the rate of cost price of milk, which is 1 rupee per liter. So my SP will be 120 rupees. But what is the cost price of 120 liters of mixture? The cost price of 120 liters of mixture is 100 rupees. Why? Because the 20 liters water which I added was free of cost. And this impacts my overall cost of the mixture if water had some cost. Right now it's free of cost, so it is not much of a trouble. So CP of 120 liters of mixture is 100 rupees and SP is 120. So it is very clear now that the profit is 20%. It also means one thing, that profit percent which we achieve here will be same as the percentage of water added. So now I can say if I were to add 30% water to pure milk, what is the profit percent? The profit percent will be obviously 30%, assuming that water is free of cost. But what if the water has some cost? So look at the variant of this question, that 20% water is added to pure milk, and same thing is given. What is the profit percent if the cost of water is 20% of the cost of milk? Now this last part makes the whole difference in this question. So let us see. Our assumptions are same that CP of 100 liters of water will be how much? If CP of 100 liters of milk was 100 rupees, the cost of the CP of 100 liters of water will be 20% of that of milk. So it will be 20% of 100 rupees. And that's why it's written here that the cost price of 100 liters of water is 20 rupees. But are we adding 100 liters of water to the mixture? No, we have added only 20 liters of water to the mixture, to pure milk. That means uh, 20 liters of water will cost how much? So we'll now apply unitary method that 100 liters of water is costing 20 rupees. So 20 liters of water will cost 4 rupees. And therefore, my cost price of 120 liters of the mixture will be 100 rupees plus 4 rupees. The cost price of milk was 100 rupees and the cost price of water is 4 rupees. So it comes out to 104 rupees. But please realize that whatever is happening to the cost, this does not affect or impact the selling price. The selling price remains the same, and that is 120 rupees. The customer is not worried whether the water being added has some cost or not. He will only assume that the entire thing is pure milk. It's the problem of the seller, the milk seller, that the cost of water is also something. Now the profit percent therefore will be 120 minus 104 divided by 104 because my new CP is now 104 rupees. And upon calculation, I get something like 15.38%. So now you see when the cost of water, when the water was free of cost, the profit percent was different. When the cost of water is something which is non-zero, the profit percent has changed. In fact, it has declined by some percentage. We'll now go on to explain these terms. Let us say the mark price of that pencil was 10 rupees. I'm carrying on with the same example. Our CP of the pencil, one pencil was 6 rupees. The mark price, I have kept it as 10 rupees. So what is mark price? Mark price is the price which I allocate to some object, in this case pencil, on my own. Now this is not to be confused with selling price. I have just written the price tag of the pencil to be 10 rupees. I may or may not be able to sell it for rupees 10. Maybe some customer comes and asks for some discount. So if in this case a discount of 10% is being available, so it means 10% of the mark price, which in this case is 10 rupees. So 10% of 10 rupees is 1 rupee. And therefore my selling price will therefore be 10 rupees minus 1 rupee, that is mark price minus discount, which comes out to 9 rupees. So the cost price was 6 rupees and mark price was 10 rupees, which after giving a discount of 10% leads to the selling price of 9 rupees. So it's again a case of profit because CP was 6 and SP is 9 rupees. And therefore, my formula of SP and MP, formula connecting SP and MP is this, which you all must remember. SP is equal to MP, which is mark price, into brackets 1 minus discount percent by 100. And discount percent, the formula is discount upon mark price into 100. Now, let's take a case study. Say we have an article which is having a cost price of 100 rupees. And I increase the price by 50% to make it 150. So notice that 150 is the mark price. This 50% increase is known as markup percent. It means what is markup percent? It's the act of raising the price from cost price to some price, in this case, mark price. So I have increased the price from 100 to 150. The 50 rupees increase is the markup. And the percentage increase in this case is 50%. So markup percent is also 50%. On the mark price, if I give some discount, let's say of 10%, it tantamounts to 150 minus 15 because 10% of 150 is 15 rupees. And so I get 150 minus 15, that's 135. And what is 135? 135 is the selling price, of course, because we know that selling price is mark price minus discount. And so we see that CP was 100 rupees. An article was costing rupees 100, which is now being sold for rupees 135 after accounting for all discounts and all these things. So my selling price is 135, and again I'm getting a profit of 35%, which I'm sure you can calculate now. So the formula for markup is nothing but mark price minus initial price, and markup percent will be now markup in this case of pencil will be that mark price was 10 rupees and initial price means cost price was 6 rupees. So my markup in the case of pencil was 4 rupees, and markup percent is mark price minus initial price divided by initial price into 100. Okay, so which in this case comes out to 10 minus 6 divided by 6 into 100. That is 66 2 by 3%. So in the case of pencil, the markup percent is 66 2 by 3% because the price was increased from 6 rupees, the cost price, to 10 rupees, which turned out to be the mark price. So when you do markup, you reach mark price. Mark price is also known as list price or tag price. Let's take an example. So read the question first of all, and then start attempting it. We see that an article is marked for sale at rupees 180. So that means 180 is the mark price, and discount is given as 20%. So using the formula connecting between SP and MP, we can get the selling price, which is 180 into 1 minus 20% discount. And that comes out to 144 rupees. So this is the selling price in case of cash payment. And the question says that upon this sale, the net profit is 20%. So now I know that SP of the article is 144 rupees and the profit percent is 20%. So we can find out the cost price which the shopkeeper paid for the articles. So cost price will be SP divided by 1 plus profit percent by 100. And so it comes out to 144 upon 1 plus 20%, which is rupees 120. So we see that we were given mark price and discount percent from which we calculated SP. And once we knew SP and we were also given 20% profit from SP and profit percent, we were able to calculate the cost price. Okay. One more example. Despite a discount of 20%, a trader gains 20%. What is the markup percent? Let us say CP is 100 rupees. Because everything in the question is in terms of percentage, I can safely assume something to be 100. So I think the easiest way is, let us say CP, the cost price of the article is 100 rupees. The question says the trader gains 20%. It means selling price we can find out as 120 rupees. Now I know SP for the trader is 120 and I'm given in the question that discount is 20%. Recall the formula connecting between SP and MP. So if I know SP is 120 and discount percent is 20%, I can find out the mark price for the trader, which is 120 divided by 1 minus 20%. And that comes out to 120 upon 0.8, which is 150. And now we realize that CP, the initial cost price was 100 rupees and the mark price is 150. So can I find out markup percent? Recall the formula of markup percent. So I see that markup percent here is 150 minus 100 upon 100 into 100. And that is 50%. So in this case, we have a markup percent of 50%. One more example. Again, we see every data in this question is in terms of percentage. So somewhere we can take something as 100 rupees. So let us see what the question is. A trader buys goods at a discount of 20% on label price. Let us say the label price or the mark price is 100 rupees, on which a discount of 20% is given. That means the trader will buy goods at what price? He will buy the goods at rupees 80. That will be the cost price for the trader. All right. Once I know the cost price for the trader is 80 rupees and he wants to have a profit of 20%, that's given in the question. So 80 plus 20% of 80 gives me 96 rupees. So selling price for the trader is 96 rupees, which was obtained after allowing a discount of 36%, because trader buys goods from somewhere and he is going to sell it to somebody, to some customer. And to that customer, he gives a discount of 36%, and then he arrives at the selling price of 96 rupees, in which he was getting a profit of 20%. So 96 is after a discount of 36%. So working backwards, I can get the mark price for the trader. So MP for the trader is 96 divided by 1 minus 36%. And that is equal to rupees 150. All right. Now, what does the question say? Question says, by what percentage should his mark price? The original mark price was 100 rupees. Now, question is, by what percentage should the mark price be greater than the original label price? Original label price was 100 rupees and his mark price is 150. So the increased percent is nothing but 50%. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. In case you have any queries regarding this video, you can always approach me on the mentioned email ID. Alternatively, you can also send the comments in the comment box.